Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Finding Your Voice podcast. This is season 3. I'm your host, Dr. Velma Bagby. Finding Your Voice podcast is a powerful path designed for everyday people, authors, entrepreneurs, ministry, and business leaders who have found their true inspiration and motivation for their assignment. Our episodes feature authentic and informative conversations designed to help others on a similar path. I love sharing the experiences God has helped me to overcome on my personal journey to do what I've been given. The Finding Your Voice podcast is designed just for that. The audience that can use motivation to get started are those who can benefit from tips on how not to give up on what you've been called to do when those challenging times hit. So, welcome to the show, and please welcome my guest, Ally Dalsimer. Did I pronounce your name correctly?
You did. Thank
Okay.
you so much, Dr. Velma. I'm very, very happy to be here with you today.
I'm excited that you're here with me. And first of all, we are going to be streaming on audio platforms as well as the video. So for those audiences, please tell us a little bit about yourself and don't skip anything. Who is Ally?
Well, I was born in New York. No. um, so I'm an award-winning author, which I never get tired of saying.
You
Um,
shouldn't.
I know, it's so exciting. And I'm also a motivational speaker. And most recently, I am a podcast host. I started a podcast with my son, and I'd love to talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Um, in terms of background, my childhood was a bit peripatetic. We moved around a lot. So we lived in 3 different countries in Africa, then moved to California, then Massachusetts, then Virginia, all by the time I was 8 years old.
Ooh.
My parents split when I was 5. So my sister and I, we were latchkey kids like so many others at that time.
Mhm.
And grew up with a sort of, there's an old show, was like One Day at a Time. That was kind of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And, fast forward, I went through school. I ended up with degrees in English and psychology and a master's in public policy.
Mhm.
Spent 30 years working in the environmental field, doing natural resources management and policy. And my last position in that career was as the program manager for the Department of Defense's Natural Resources Program.
Yeah.
That position was eliminated and temporarily. And I ended up starting my own business. The pandemic hit. My business failed.
Oh, wow.
And all during that time, my husband had passed about a decade ago now. And I ended up running for Congress, and my mother became sick and died during the campaign.
Oh.
And I ended the campaign a couple months after she passed.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went to the UK. My mother was British, and she wanted her ashes spread on her paternal grandmother's grave in Wales. And so my daughter and I were driving there, and we got hit by a truck.
What?
We were nearly killed. It was actually not good. It took up the front of the car, and
Right.
it was really bad. Actually, I couldn't walk for a while.
Oh,
But
geez.
we ended up coming back, and I spent time just recuperating mentally and emotionally and physically, and really trying to enjoy my time, especially with my daughter. My son had worked with me on the campaign. He actually is the reason I ultimately ran. But I didn't spend much time with my daughter during that time. And so I really tried to spend a lot of time with her. And fast forward to September.
Mm-hmm.
And I woke up one day, and it was just a really miserable day, just weather-wise. And I realized I had no purpose in life. I had no husband, no parent to care for. My children had both gone off to college. I had no job. I still sort of toyed with the idea of doing a little bit of editing, but it was freelance, and it wasn't, it's not a career. And I really struggled. It was a very dark time. Out of that time, I ended up writing some life advice for my kids. It started because I pulled out this folder that I had started after my husband had passed, and to try and help my children sort of navigate life. And I pulled it out and just started reading what was in there as just a way to help myself ground and feel connected, and decided that that's a good project. So I started working on it and compiling my notes again and putting everything together, and ended up writing this small book, which I sent to my children, and they shared it with their friends and encouraged me to publish it. So I published it, and it was out there, and I received some really surprising feedback. People liked it. So I actually took it back, and I was like, okay, if this is actually going to be a thing, because I thought nobody's going to read this thing, I'm going to put it out there, and my friends and relatives will buy it.
Yes.
And it ended up not being that. It ended up actually becoming a bestseller. And so I pulled it back, and I reworked it a little bit, added some intro material, an appendix, whatever. Anyway, ended up putting it out there, and that has just launched me on a whole new path. The previous door closed, a new window opened, and in stepping through that, I now am living a life that I never really could have imagined even a couple of years ago.
Yeah, well, guess what? It's when you thought it was just for your kids, and they began to share it. When you said that, it made me laugh, because that's how I started with my very first book.
Oh my goodness.
My daughters were young adults and looking for mates and wanted to know more, and we were having conversations. They started telling their friends, and they said, they want to know more, Mom, blah, blah, blah. That's exactly how it happened.
That's fascinating.
What great responses that you got as a result. I want to know, what's your favorite in the book?
No one's ever asked me that.
Yeah.
I think, and I don't even know if I included it in this book. I was going to say my favorite quote, because the book, the way it's set up, it's a quote, and then it's just a couple pages of anecdotes and stuff. I think my favorite quote, well, there's two. There's a mantra that I have, and then there's my favorite quote is from Yoda. I don't think I used it in the book. I didn't use a lot of what I had. And it's do or do not. There is no try, right? We always say, I really want to try to get to the gym today. I really want to try to write a book. I really want to try to do that. And so my kids are always telling me that, I really want to try to get to class.
Yeah. Okay, well, say that.
Do or do not, right? Do or do not. There is no try.
Right.
So that's actually my favorite quote. And
I love that.
So surprising. I didn't use it in the book.
Wow. Well, that can always go in a quote somewhere in the description or something like that, but you can always put it in.
I think it's not funny. I don't think it's in the book. And I was like, wait a minute.
Wow. It's beautiful, though. I love that one. Powerful. Well, so your kids set you on this path, really.
Yeah.
And encourage you, and the inspiration from the responses that you were getting made you move forward. And then I love the fact that for those who are listening and may not understand how to start, sometimes you get additional information, and you stopped and decided to revamp it a little bit and add some additional things to it. And wow, and now it's a bestseller. It's an award-winning book.
Yeah, it's won several awards, which really, I'll be honest, it really surprised me. I was so excited.
Really?
It did. Yeah. Well, I put this out there, and I thought, no one's going to read this. It's just me talking about my stories. Yeah, right. It's like, well, no one's going to look at this thing, and if they do, whatever, they'll, it's like, why will they care about what I did in my life or my perspectives? But, I had definitely planned I knew my children would be interested and wanted them to view their lives and their experiences through the lens of my experience, so that they could adapt the lessons that I learned such hard way.
It's wisdom.
So that they didn't have to make my same mistakes, right? Yeah. They could just go make their own new mistakes.
A book full of wisdom. That's what it is, Ally.
Yeah. It's been called that, actually. And what's fascinating is that other people have also, although if you think about it, I guess if you take a step back, we're all just people, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was surprising. But the thing is, when it really started to get some attention, I realized I wasn't proud of it the way it was. It wasn't something that I was yes, the English major in me. I was
No, I
like,
got
it
you.
needs a little
Uh-huh.
work here. So
Yes.
I went through and put it in context, and I changed the cover because one of the feedback things that I got was my original cover. Everybody thought it was going to be some sort of a romance story,
Oh, wow.
which wasn't my intent. My intent was the original cover had a girl kind of looking around a corner, and it's
Mm-hmm.
all dark and drab in the background, and she's got her tiara and her makeup, and she's trying to
Oh,
smile,
yeah.
right? Because I'm like, you don't have to be fabulous every day, and it's like
This one's so much
this.
better.
Yes, well, apparently because I just didn't have the right genre
Well,
cover.
what I've always said was, as a person, my husband and I will be celebrating 52 years together in a
Yeah.
couple of weeks. And I've always said, if you've been married 2 minutes, there's nothing you can tell me. There's nothing, no wisdom you can pour into me. But what you've done is you've taken what you've experienced, because what you said, you didn't want your children to make the same mistakes. You wanted to give them some tips and tools that they can use because you've been there, you experienced it. So I'm saying I prefer to hear from a person like you regarding those challenges I would face every day. Now, it's okay not to be fabulous. You understand that because you've experienced many of the things you've included in your book.
Mhm.
I felt the same way when I began to write about dating and relationships. Don't If you've only been dating or married for 2 minutes, don't try to explain anything to me, but let me hear from a person who's been there and has experienced it. It means so much more because that's what wisdom does. They've been there, they've done that. And so their wisdom is able to help you go through it and get through it. That's what I love about your book. You were telling what your kids, what you felt, you've experienced, and the wisdom you learned along the way so that they can benefit from your wisdom. That's rich.
Well,
It
thank you for
really
that.
is.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've been seeing, some of your interviews with Cyrus, and I said, I got to get on the show, got to get on, and I haven't been able to do that. But I'm so glad when you were in the group, all of that. I said, oh, I haven't interviewed Ollie yet. Let me get her on there. But it's so true. It's rich. And I'm not trying to put a dollar sign on your project or anything. I hope it's being successful. But inside the book is the richness of your experience. And no one can say it like you.
Yeah. Well, I guess
It's
that's
your
true.
voice. Yeah,
That's
it
true.
is.
And
It is.
in terms of success, I really think that our society overvalues monetary gain.
Oh no.
And
Yes, they do.
what I really think for me and what I say in the book is success means really loving who you are, who you're
Hmm.
with, and what you're doing. And if you have that, really very little else is as important.
You did the book. That was the first award.
Yeah.
You wrote
Yeah,
a
it's
achievement.
crazy. It's crazy. They say that 81% of people want to write a book. They say they
Hmm.
want to write a book.
Hmm.
Less than 4% actually write a book, and less than 1% of those actually publish the book. So, yeah,
And I remember something that
good on us.
Les Brown says, and he said the richest place in the world is the graveyard because
Mm,
all those dreams and I wish I could have, I want to, I should have, has gone to the grave
hmm
because they never took the time to finish that dream that they had, to act upon that idea that they had, to put it
mm.
into play, any of those things. So he said the richest place in the world is the graveyard because so many
That's so
dreams and
funny.
visions went to the
Yeah,
grave.
it's so funny. I'm not sure that I would agree with him.
Hmm.
I think the saddest place in the world is a place that all the hopes and dreams have gone to die. For me, the richest place in the world would be the library. It's just a
Yeah, but
wealth of
imagine the
everything.
ones, the things that never got published,
Yeah.
the things that
Yeah.
never got produced, the
Mhm.
ideas that never came to fruition because
Yep.
the person with the
The lost
idea didn't step
opportunities.
out. Kind of
Mhm.
what we were talking about earlier in our conversation about you're unsure of writing a book. I wasn't either. I knew
Mhm.
that I felt called to write a book. However, when I did the research and looked at the genre and said, God, how am I going to write a book? And there's only 50,000 books already written about marriage.
Right.
What is my little bit of book going to say? What is it going to
Mhm.
do for anybody? And that's why I said to you what I just said to you. My Christian marketing teacher said this one day, and that's what freed me from my fear. No one can say it like you.
Mm.
You're the only one can say what you have been given to say. And there's an audience waiting just for you. in what you have to say. And that's what happened with your book.
I like that perspective. That's great.
Hmm. Well, anything else going on? You got any new projects coming along? Anything you want to offer the audience so they can stay in touch with you to keep an
Yeah,
eye on what's
I
coming up
have
next?
I have a lot going on. As I mentioned, I do public speaking. I also have a YouTube station where I do book recommendations,
Hmm.
and I've started a podcast with my son called So What's Your Process? Where we speak
Oh,
with, yeah. So this is an interesting story. So everybody's always asking, and I'm sure Dr. Vilma, you get the same. People are always saying, how do you go about writing a book? Like, where do you get your
yeah, they do.
ideas? How do you actually go from an idea to paper? And what's it like to
Hmm.
publish? And blah, 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 blah,
Hmm.
blah. Question, question, question. And I found myself also asking other people, like my son. My son is an actor and a singer. And recently he produced and directed his very first indie short film that he also wrote.
Nice.
And yeah. And I was involved with him on it, whatever. But I kept asking these questions, like, what's the difference? So, what's the difference between stage acting and film acting? And how do you go about getting into a role? And what with the film, how do you do this? How do you? And anyway, I was thinking about it one night, and I thought, Cyrus, our mutual friend Cyrus, had been
Oh,
encouraging
yes.
me to do a podcast, and I'm
Hmm.
like,
The one who puts his finger in your back. Let me do my finger the right way. It goes
go, go, go.
this
Um,
way.
And I just had no
It's
real
true.
inclination to do it because
It's
one,
true.
I'm very busy, and two, I just didn't have anything I thought people would want to say. And then I had the idea, and I was like, this is an idea I'm interested in, and this is an idea I think other people would be interested in. So I
Yes.
ended up pitching it to my children. My daughter was very supportive, said she thought it was a great idea. My son immediately was like, I want to do this with you, and we
Wow.
should expand it to all creatives. And I
Good.
thought, brilliant. And so that's what we did. And we talk now with creatives from all fronts about how they do what they do. Like, how do they get
Awesome.
into the role? What is the process for like embodying a character or creating an artwork or taking a photograph or whatever it is? And it's fascinating. We had season 1 and it did very well.
Wow.
Season 2, the first episode is Larry Saperstein,
Mm-hmm.
who's a star of High School Musical, the musical
Uh-huh.
Disney series, as well
Uh-huh.
as host of his own podcast and one of the best dancers in the country. And his episode airs January 29th, so Thursday.
Okay.
And the episodes come out every Thursday, and they're fascinating. Everybody should go and just watch them. They're
Where
so
does it
good.
air? On YouTube?
They're posted on YouTube,
Okay.
and our channel is So What's Your Process. We have an Instagram page that's also So What's Your Process,
Wow.
and yeah, and you can also, and so that's fascinating. So we're doing that, and I'm doing that. What else did I say? Yeah, the book recs and just all kinds of things. I'm taking a step back from public speaking a little bit, but I'll get back to it because I'm really diving into my latest manuscript.
Oh,
I only
good.
started writing a couple years ago.
Yes.
The it's okay. Um, it's okay not to be fabulous every day. A journey to self-discovery
Mm-hmm.
is my one book. I did also do a Spanish translation of that.
I
So
saw that. That's
yeah,
really
so,
nice.
and we did an audiobook as well. So I mean, the whole
Mm-hmm.
process took a little while. It's one book, but it's
Yes.
like multiple formats, which takes some time.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
But I've spent about a year on my most recent manuscript. It's called Hidden Nature, and
Oh.
it's a new adult romance with a little bit of suspense. It's got an undertone of suspense,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm getting close to finishing that draft so that I can get it out for beta review, and I don't know. Hopefully, it'll come out sometime this year. We'll see. And what else am I doing? I don't know. It just feels like there's so much going on all the
Well, it sounds
time. But
a lot for somebody who was hesitant to write a book, and look at all you're doing now.
yeah,
Wow.
it's exciting.
Oh,
And
it's
then
a blessing.
and if for staying in touch, I've got a website, allydalsimer.com. I'm active on all the socials, especially
Mm-hmm.
Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
yeah.
let me ask you this. This will be our final question. I want you
Sure.
to offer the audience some of your wisdom concerning a time when maybe you were faced with a challenge in terms of moving forward with your project. Tell them what is it that you can offer them that would help them not to give up on what it is that they've been given to do.
I think the absolute most important thing is to really believe and embrace at a deep and meaningful level that
Hmm.
you are worthy and your dreams are worthwhile. They are
Wow.
worth your time and energy to pursue. And too often, especially women, we give all of our time and energy to helping others,
Yep.
which is important. But we forget to leave time and space and
Hmm.
energy for ourselves. And
Yes.
my one bit of wisdom is learn to say no,
Hmm.
because you are also worthy and your dreams are worthwhile and they're worth pursuing. And if you keep finding yourself not able to pursue it, ask yourself if that really is your dream or if it's something that society or culture or
Yep.
friends or family are pushing on you. And if it really is your dream, then, you know, do or do not. There is no try. Just buckle down and do it because
Wow.
ultimately you're the only one who can.
Wow, that's beautiful wisdom. Thank you for that, Ally. So everybody, you've heard it from Ally Dalsimer. Make sure you get her book. It's okay not to be fabulous every day, but if you want to stay connected with her, she's provided you the tool to do that. And I think it's worth your time. And I am so excited that we had this moment. I'm not sure what just happened.
Oh, I forgot one other thing.
Well, it's like a blink, but I'm not sure what happened. But
Yeah.
thank you so much for being with me today, Ally. It's been wonderful having you on board.
Thank you so much. And also, Dr. Velma, I forgot I also have a newsletter that goes out
Yes,
weekly, and
I
I
get
do an
it.
author update. Yes, you do. I do an author update one week, and on the alternate week, I put out some sort of motivational
That's
positivity,
awesome.
something, and I offer tips, tools, tricks, and actual resources to help you on your personal journey. So
That's
feel free to
awesome.
sign up at my website, and yeah, and I would love to have everybody do that. So
Thank
no, I
you.
appreciate
Appreciate it.
everybody taking the time to listen, and thank you so much, Dr. Velma, for having
Oh,
me
it's
on.
been a pleasure. Thank you, everybody. You all stay tuned for the next episode. Enjoy your